Look at all the white people. Look at this guy. He's just like, I like this guy in the middle right here. He's like, eh. You know, all these guys are excited and cool and shit. We're in a new company. And this guy's like, man, what are you going to do? Listen to me. That's the white brigade. And that's the white crew. Listen, I wake up today. I saw this yesterday. We talked about it on the stream yesterday. The white guys from Alex Hutchinson's new company. And it's like it's, Schreier, writes a report. Grumble, grumble. It's all white people. Yes, of course. We need more diversity in the world. That makes no sense what I just said. We need more diversity in gaming. We need more diversity in a lot of businesses that have historically been gatekept by white males. There's no doubt. White, straight, you know what I'm saying. It's like cis, het, white, the whole thing. I get it. It's not wrong, by the way. There's nothing incorrect about that statement. Diversity is important. It's crucial. There's no doubt. Okay? But there's two articles today from Kotaku. One is about, again, this Hutchinson's new company. Why doesn't he have any women or black folks or Muslim folks or whatever? And then there was another article about how badly the QA folks at Blizzard are being treated. And it's weird, man, because it's not that I disagree, of course. It's just it's such shit reporting. It's such performative horseshit. When you are a startup, especially, we're not talking about a company that's got like $350 million in funding, and it's a division of Activision or Sony or whatever. This is a startup. You hire your friends. Or you hire your friends of friends of friends. We had a very diverse group of developers in Bartlett Jones. But the programming staff, I'm trying to think through this, other than one guy who was a dude, great programmer from, I want to say he was from somewhere in South America. We're all kind of Caucasian-y. We didn't have a black dude. We didn't have a woman. We didn't have an Asian dude. And it wasn't because we didn't give a fuck. We were diverse sort of just naturally. We just hired, we didn't even pay any attention to it, which is, looking back now, it's like, yeah, we should have, but we just hired the best people, and a lot of the best people ended up being very diverse, which was great. But on the programming staff, a lot of it is, that's, especially if you're a creative guy like I am, and you're not an engineer, you lean on your other programmers that you've already brought on. Like, we had a CTO, and then he knew this guy, and this guy knew that guy, and they'd work together, and this, that, and the other. And yes, it's a reflection of the problematic issue of very little diversity in engineering and video games, that a lot of those, most of those, overwhelmingly tend to be white dudes. But it would be nice if, when these things are covered in the press, there is kind of a, there's a bit of a, not that it needs like a balance, like, let me give you my side and your side. It's just like, it's so nosy neighbor over the fence of Kotaku, like, and it's, or Schreier and these fuckers. And it's like, okay, you're not wrong about wanting things to be more diverse. You're not wrong about perhaps even certain individuals that you're, targeting in your write-up might be less open to an idea that is progressive. Not that diverse hiring should be progressive, but it is in certain circles. But explain to your audience why this happens. Explain to your audience the fact that, end of the day, you're a startup, you're investing your own money, your family's, security's on the line. You're going to hire, it's like, oh, I'm buddies with the CTO. He's telling me he worked with this guy at, High Moon 3 years ago, and the guy was a fucking monster. He was amazing, creative, fun to work with. People loved him, and he was just talented as all get out. And we have a milestone coming up, our first milestone. Yeah, but let's hold off on that guy because I'd like to, spend the 4 months looking for a diversity hire who is as good or close to as good as your buddy. And it's like, no, okay? Unless Kotaku is going to offer some solutions like, hey, let's raise taxes that go into education in areas of the country where there are more people of color, and maybe we could spend more money on computer training in classrooms, better computers, video game design classes. I mean, yeah, we need more people of color and more women and more just diversity in engineering. But you can't just say it. How? What is preventing it, and how do we get it? If you don't explain that in your article as well, and then you are either intentionally or simply by omission of any other angle on the story, you are painting these guys, and it may be accurate, but you have no evidence that it's accurate, of just being a bunch of sort of, at best clueless and at worst racist game developers. And I know that gets clicks, but it's not accurate necessarily, or certainly not thoroughly, expressed in your article. How do we fix it, Kotaku? It's not that these guys, I don't know these guys, but it's not that like we at Bartlett Jones necessarily wanted to only hire white dudes. It wasn't even on our radar any more than when we hired non-binary folks and pansexual folks and Muslim folks and agnostics and atheists and conservative folks. It wasn't on our radar. They were just the best people we could find, and they were awesome. So instead of just wagging your finger, about it, Kotaku, why don't you, go, hey, I don't know, here's some candidates that were pushing for better working conditions. Here's some candidates that were saying that the bare minimum is not enough. Maybe you guys should have voted for those people, right? Or just explaining to your audience how this is bigger than just moral grandstanding, which is what you guys tend to do a lot, especially these days. Your article about QA with Blizzard, it's like, look, here's the deal, man. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. And some of the stuff in that article about, making a very toxic work environment, of course, it's Blizzard. What do you expect these days? But yes, there's no doubt. That should be reported on. That should be nipped in the bud in a heartbeat. It's horrid. Okay? But if you're talking, though, about the amount of hours and what they get paid and how easily replaceable are, it is an entry-level job. Okay? If you are really good at QA and you make a career out of it, that's different. They put you in a managerial role. You design the test plans and all that stuff. You have a team. But if you're just a QA guy, it's the start. It's one of the starting positions in video games. Okay? It doesn't mean you should be exploited. But there are laws in every state and federally that says that these are sort of the things that you cannot do with your employees. And assuming they didn't run afoul of that, then again, Kotaku, who do we vote for? Who's in favor of better working conditions? On and on and on. But this idea that again, I don't like Bobby Kotick. I think the guy needs to be running a town on a rail. I think he's a nightmare. Blizzard and Activision sound like a fucking nightmare. I'm not defending those guys. But this is a pile-on. This is just like, focus on what is actually happening and add some context for why it's happening, right? These are not sweatshops where illegal shit is happening. This is the job. It is under contract. They are allowed to hire through contractors. They don't owe these people insurance and health insurance and 401k. And maybe you could say, hey, by the way, we talked to a couple of finance people in video games. If the QA people were to get what we're asking for, we just want to let you know the budgets of games would have to go up, or this would have to happen. These are the ramifications if suddenly you are paying for the health insurance of all these people. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, by the way. I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, by the way. I'm just saying that to present it as evil company or evil startup without giving some context as to why it's happening or ways that we could fix it. And then more importantly, on all of your articles, I made sure to check you're running ads on your articles. So you're making money off this as well. So it's just kind of like, look, man, I'm putting an ad on this video. I don't know if this video will do well enough to generate any meaningful ad revenue. Most of them don't when it comes to ads. But I'm just like, yeah, well, yeah, sure. I want to make a video and I know it's a topic that people are interested in. And maybe I'll make a couple of bucks off it. Why not? But I'm at least admitting it. But don't get off your fucking soapbox, Kotaku. Get off your fucking high horse and talk to people about context of this shit. Talk to people about possible solves that go beyond just like, I mean, sure, you could also say don't buy Activision games. We won't cover Activision games. Some outlets, not you guys, I don't think, I could be wrong, are doing that. Here are the kinds of people you could vote for that would push for legislation that would actually get this at the core level, which is where it really has to happen. But instead, you're making your money off your ads, reporting on a story where you get to look like you've got the high ground because you're just wagging your finger with offering no real solutions and no nuanced reporting about why this stuff happens. I just wanted to say, fuck off. Look, I have ceased candy. Listen, that's discipline. I went the whole time without eating the sucker. That's what we've come to, Kotaku. That's a win for me.